Hello and welcome to another video from erpdrill.com. In this video, we'll be talking about a HANA-based software solution that we've released. Um, by far the largest one we've ever come up with. It's a HANA-based solution in which we have the ECC IDES EHP7. The BW 7.4 SR2 with patch level 8 is natively installed on HANA. That's what S/4HANA is all about. It's all about the HANA database. So the BW is natively installed. On that, we have BODS 4.2 and then Business Object Enterprise 4.1 Service Pack Level 4, which is the latest version. So all of this is installed within the HANA container. And when you purchase the software, you will get a bunch of links that looks like this. So there's two parts. There's the application part and then there's the database part. And the first thing you need to do is click on the part 1 and extract this to an SSD drive. Okay, and you need SSD, it's very important. And you then you extract the HANA. So once you extract it, you will get two folders like this with the extracted files. I am using a HANA here, a HANA database here, I mean an SSD drive here, and you can see I have 1 terabyte of SSD and approximately 461 gigabytes used with the archives. So without the archives, just these two will be using about 342 gigabytes. Okay, so which is highly compressed. So as you get it up and running, you will get gigabytes and gigabytes of data, especially in HANA. So SSD is highly recommended. So HANA works on memory, right? So most servers need high amounts of RAM. So the server that I'm running over here, I have about 256 gigs of RAM, right? 256 gigs of RAM, and I got 32 cores. My CPU has 32 cores. So it is considered a high-end system, but you don't need that because we're using virtual machine. You only need a 1 terabyte SSD. This is highly recommended that you use a 1 terabyte. You can get it for 300 bucks, 400 bucks on eBay. So if you're serious about S/4HANA, because the entire business suite, the latest version will be coming out on HANA. There's no more GUI anymore. SAP is using Fiori and personas and all of that stuff, which needs a HANA database, and HANA needs memory. To defeat the memory requirement, we use VMware. So you go into VMware and click on Open Virtual Machine and navigate to the SSD drive where you have extracted the BW and the HANA database. Once you've extracted it, you open it in your virtual machine, like here I've done. So over here you can see I have 64 gigs allocated to my HANA, and I have 64 gigs allocated to my HANA database. So the application layer and the database both have 64 gigs. So that's a total of 128 gigabytes. Most of you won't have that, which is where VMware comes in. Go into Edit, click on Preference, come into Memory, and you say allow most virtual memory to be swapped. So what happens here is VMware creates a VMem file, virtual memory file for 64 gigs, and SSD is almost like RAM. So you will get a very small performance degrade. So that is what you do. You click allow most virtual memory to be RAM. Once you've selected this, you go back here, go into Edit, and make sure you select the thing all the way to 64 gigs. If you don't do this, it will give you an error that your machine does not have enough physical RAM. So go into Edit, Preference, Memory, allow most memory to be swapped. This is an option you need to select. So now we're going to deal with HANA SP1. Okay, so HANA works on two principles. One is your network, very important, and the second is how it talks to each other. That's by host name. We're going by host name because the configuration is done not on IP but on host name. HANA SP9 is the name of the host. So your Fiori, personas, all of this is configured with the host name. The advantage of using host name is IP address change all the time. You get a new IP address, but the host name will not change. So you need to make sure that the application layer knows the IP address of the host name. So it may sound confusing, but I'll show you how it's done. So step by step, follow this video and you will have this up and running in about 5 minutes from the extraction process. So the video is a bit long, but yeah, it is not very complicated at all, especially considering that you're running HANA and a Linux operating system. It may be a bit difficult at first, but it's very easy to understand because we've configured this machine to be very user friendly. You don't have to enter any commands to start up HANA. All the technical stuff has been taken care of for you. It will automatically start up as long as the IP address and all that stuff is correct. So you follow my step, you follow what I'm doing step by step, and you will have it up and running. So wait for the HANA to load. The reason it's doing this is it's making that RAM 64 gigs. It's loading into the SSD. So that is why it's taking a bit of a time. Once it's up and running, it's pretty quick. It will come on up. So now here we have three databases, 2 users and the default user. So we're going to click on the HANA database user first, and the first thing you need to do is log in. I will give you the password when you purchase it. It's one password for every instance. Okay, go into your terminal and type in HDB STOP. So this is your HANA user. So this is what you do first. Just stop all instances because it's not going to start up. It's going to start up the name server. Name server is confused that the pre-indexer is not working. So just stop everything. Just click HANA HDB stop. I'm not going to do it, but it's good that you do it. Just press stop and close this and switch user. Go into logout, switch the user. Okay. Okay, once the user is switched, you go into your not listed and click on the root user and click on. The advantage of using root is that you don't have to keep giving OK to permissions. It'll ask you, are you then entering your password? It's just so much hassle. So you click over here, open in terminal, leave the terminal window open, click here, go to YAST. YAST is where all the configuration stuff is done. So sometimes when you log in, especially if your subnet changes, you will see that the hostname completely disappears, right? So there's no entry for hostname. So you have to make sure that there is a hostname entry. So you can see here, this is my IP address. How do you know this is my IP address? You go into your terminal, you type in the command ifconfig, and you can see this is my IP address. Okay, so now this IP address you enter here. Sometimes if your subnet changes, this will be missing, so you need to add an entry manually. So you enter your IP address, you enter your host name, which is HANA SP9, and then the alias is always HANA SP9. Okay, and you need 2 entries. One is for the domain, so certain applications like smart apps and stuff is dependent on the domain, and the database in itself is just a non-FQDN host name. So once this is done exactly like this, you shut it down, shut down the machine, and you click restart. Oops, shut down and click restart. Okay, I'm going to cancel. Okay, so once it's restarted, you go back into your terminal, you go into your root, log in, open in terminal, and I have to change user su/l. HDB ADM is the user. Okay, you will log into HDB info, and you can see that the index server, preprocessor, compiler, all this is running. So this is how you know the HANA is running. So once you've configured the IP address and the host name and stuff like that, all you need to do is just turn this on. Turn your HANA server on, right? Power it on. Startup guest. Once you turn it on, you don't have to enter startup guest, nothing. The script has been entered for you. We've done it for you already. You don't have to do anything. So once this is set up, you can go into your external machine. That's your Windows machine, not the application server. If you start up HANA Studio, see, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to enter a system here. It should connect to the virtual machine because it's on the same network. 192.168.1.28 is my HANA for this instance. So I put in 00 as the instance number. I enter the password. Okay, and now my HANA Studio, which is external, it's not in the VMware, it's not in my application. My application server is shut down. Only my HANA is up. So I'm talking from my Windows. That's your host machine. It's talking to your virtual machine by HANA Studio, and the HANA Studio is it's a fully configured. Now you'll ask, where is the installation file for HANA Studio? Again, that HANA Studio will be given to you. This HANA Studio download will be given to you in your purchase. So you don't need to install I mean, you don't have to worry about where you get the HANA Studio or HANA Console. It will be given to you. You just install the HANA Studio from the download link, add the system. Once you've configured it, like I showed you in the video, it will be perfect. Just add the system and you can see configuration, the administration. This is the GUI based, like the regular administration, and the new administration is based on the HANA Cockpit, which is part of HANA SP8 and SP9. So open your HANA Cockpit, which is where I like to be. Okay. Oops. Okay, once you log into the cockpit, it gives you a graphical interface. This is the future. This is what S/4HANA is all about. This is Fiori, and these tiles, the way SAP uses tiles to be descriptive on giving information. So it's easy. I can just look at the tiles and see what information is there. You know, I restarted the system once. 2 high priority alerts are there. So these are the things that are, so I need, memory is the most important thing. So I want to keep track of memory. The reason why my HANA is already using 20 gigs is because BW is installed natively. So the BW and the business objects, BODS, all that is installed directly into HANA, which is why my table data, there's 8 gigs of table data, right? So 20 gigs of HANA is already used. So you have about 30 gigs remaining to get your SLT from ECC or from any other application. We have ECC installed in this to get ECC, because all the HANA, all the BW tables, all the BW content is already in your HANA in this 20 gigs. So you don't need to import anything. This 30 gigs is for importing your tables from ECC. I will show you how to do that. So this is one of the most important screens. See how graphical it is. Everything gives you information. Click on that, it'll give you the tables. Everything is from this one menu. Again, it's fully configured for you. We've done the configuration. Nothing you need to worry about anything. So now we go into the application server. Again, keep in mind I've configured 64 gigs. It's very important, because if application layer server you've configured only 8 gigs, your HANA will be limited to 8 gigs of peak memory. So make sure you give 64 gigs for both the application and the database. Very important. As you can see, the application server is Windows based, and it should be much more user friendly. So you can see the 2 users here, 3 users, main user, BW administration for your BW basis task, and ECC for the ECC basis task. Okay, and it's one password for the entire complete VMware, uses one password, so you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, now you go into your SAP Management Console. Okay, so now this is where it gets a bit tricky. Now you open your host file, open it in Notepad, and you need to make sure that the IP address of your machine, okay, which is IPCON 5G, IP, not IF, IPCON 5G, IP config SC27 is my IP address, right? And that IP address is assigned to my machine, which is called sapdrill.erpdrill.com. And my HANA, as you know, is called HANA SP9, which is 128. So this is how your machine knows that the IP address of the HANA database is this. If your HANA IP address changes, you have to change it here. So if you guys have a different IP address, say 200, you change it here, and it'll automatically save that data. So now we start the instance from the front end, the application server. Okay, so now you have 2 instances installed. I'm going to start. It should be insanely fast compared to remote access. There's no waiting, you know, because if you have an SSD, VMware, just because using VMware doesn't matter, because it's insanely fast. Try using remote access for HANA. It is impossible. So once as the ECC is starting up, I'm going to load up the BW as well. I'm going to start. Again, depending on your resources, I have very high resources, so I can start up both at the same time. I have no issues. But if you have a slower machines, make sure that you take that into consideration. Okay. Sorry, I forgot to mention an important step. See, the reason why it's not starting, see, it should have been started by now. You see, my ABAP tables have ended. The reason for this is because we shipped the server without virtual memory. Again, it's a memory issue, so I'm going to shut this down. Okay, so it's one of the most important steps. I'm going to make a step here is install load extract. So I'm going to add a step here, do not power on. Okay, so turn on. So now ECC and NW setup. Okay, so now in this step, turn on ECC server, edit the host file, save the host file, ping HANA if success. Okay, so before you do all this, so go to SYSTM system and advanced SWAP swap file. Okay, so I'm going to save that as well. So we need to make sure there's a swap file. See, there's no swap file, that's why it didn't start up. So I'm going to go into control panel, go into system and advanced here and click on performance, advanced again. See, my swap file is not there, so I'm going to say custom size and I'm going to add a swap file of say 180. I have a lot of space, so I'm going to say about 1 to 180. Okay, set this. Okay, all right, so once the swap file has been set, I can go ahead and turn this on again. It should work. If it doesn't work, we need to give it a restart, a quick restart, and then the swap file will come into effect. Again, you can keep track on what's happening. The files have launched. Looks like it's working. See, it's going into wait. Okay, so you can see that this time it's working. Okay, now it's all green. So now we're ready to log in. Now I'm going to start the BW as well. So make sure you start the swap file. Very important. Okay, this is a very important step. Okay, I'm going to bold this. Okay, very important step. I forgot that step, sorry. So once that ECC started, you can see the BW starting as well. So now I'm going to log into the usual way. Again, you can go in through GUI. Internet Explorer has all these things saved. I think I've saved it. No, it's not saved. So we'll save that. So you can see the BW and ECC have been started up. So going to ECC and I'm going to log into ID admin. And we will log into BW as well. Oops, sorry. Okay, SGen has been run for you, so there's no need to wait. See, so both are up and running. Just going to, this is the BW system. Just take a quick look at the BW system. And as you can see here, patch level 8. Okay, UI has been patched to level 9. And you can see the BI content 5.7 is installed. Okay, and BW is also version 8. Okay, so everything is from a NetWeaver gateways. I mean, you need the gateway foundation for UI and Fury to work. SR2. And you can see the kernel files are also the latest kernel files has been updated. And the licenses. Both the maintenance and the regular license have been installed to 2020. And developer keys are there as well. So I'm going to log off the thing and go into the the ECC, which is here. Again, you can see this is real time how it loads up. I'm not doing any sort of magic here. It's on SSD, so the response time is incredibly fast. And SGen has been run, so it's just a matter of pulling data up. It's very quick, and as you can see here, the complete ECC IDES package is loaded. Okay, so this is the whole ECC. Okay, complete ECC package. So now let's go into LTR. LTR, that is your transaction code for importing data into HANA. Okay, so now here you go, you can add a system, delete a system. I'm going to delete the system. Okay, and again, everything depends on your IP address. That's why we say use HANA SP9 as a name, not the IP address. Okay, so I'm just going to leave because this is all for our training center. So this is all functional stuff now. It's nothing to do with technical stuff. It's all simple. Just add a new system. It's very straightforward. All the information is given to you, you know, and there's no point of me adding this for you because your HANA data network is going to change. So you have to do this. This is not a basis task to be done remotely. It has to be, I mean, it has to be done on your destiny, on your site. So based on your network. So that is SLT. That's how you import data in. A lot of YouTube videos on SLT and stuff like that. So that is that, guys. So I just wanted to be a quick video, but now it's 21 minutes into the video. So this is the best and I mean in terms of configuration, one of the best options out there for HANA BW with ECC IDES machine installed. Okay, and now I'm going to show you the BODS and BO business. So this is the BOE platform, and the BODS. BODS also has been configured into your BODS 4.2. Okay, has been installed as well. Okay, designer, services workbench, all of them has been installed and it's been configured. Yep, we will fix this before we ship it out. So you will have a valid key code for the business object as well. And we'll give you a link where you can download your own SAP business object keys if anything expires. You have a key valid for 90 days, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop all this. This is how we shut down the machine. Make sure all task is stopped, okay? Once this is about to shut down, you go into HANA. It's very important that you stop the HANA service or your system will crash. You have to stop the HANA database. Click here, open terminal, su/l hdb adm. hdb stop is the key for stopping the HANA function. So this will take some time, maybe about 5 minutes to stop. You know, 64 gigs of memory has to be written to the drive. So it'll take some time, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes maximum, and then it will say HANA has been stopped. Then you can shut down the virtual machine, and then you can shut down this. See, this is already shut down. Okay, so now you're ready to shut this down. You start, shut down. This is all real time. I'm not stopping and starting the video or anything. This is real time, and wait for this one to be done. Give it a few seconds. Okay, see, HTTP has been stopped. Okay, so now you can shut down this as well. Start and say power off. Okay, so both application service builds. Now you can, that's the end of it. All right, guys, hope you have a good time. And if you have any questions, please email us, sales@sapdrill.com, not erpdrill.com, sales@sapdrill.com. Thank you.